Hey everyone. Yeah, I got some time to do this. My mom had to take my 19-year-old nephew to Modesto to sign a paper or so to that he has for the Navy. This is something he has to do every other week, basically to confirm he's still going to be part of it. Um, anyway, I was gonna do this. I was thinking of doing this earlier, but I rested. I was on the couch. I was sleeping. Um, but I thought I'd talk about something that it's been on YouTube a lot, and I think on Blimp and Daily Motion, just everywhere, and that is comic dramas, and basically more along the lines, since I'm a fan of the comic and been a subscriber since about 72, issue 72, the Sonic the Hedgehog comics. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what a comic drama is, and by now you should, but in case anybody doesn't, what a comic drama is basically it's like a radio drama. It's like you know it's like in the past, way back in like the 40s and 30s and even the 20s, but the 30s, the 40s, even early 50s, and even up to today with some AM stations. You have these radio dramas, basically these radio basically the radio's interpretation of what you now see on television. And that's what a comic drama, in a sense, is. It's just a group of people, just average Joes and Jills, like me and you, that come together uh, very uniquely, and we record the lines of the character we're auditioning for, or we get assigned to because of our audition. And sometimes the people that get selected are very good. In fact, I've been even asked to think once or twice, or a couple of times, to do a voice, to provide a voice, or if I was interested. And I'm still interested at times. It's just that I've got to basically find the time and the place to do it. And seeing as though next week and the week after, I'm going to probably have enough time on my hands, due to my work slowing down a little bit, whoever has a comic drama ready, maybe I might be interested in doing it. You know, but but the point is, like I'm saying, basically this unique group of people, what they do is they record the voices for everything they're assigned to, for every character they might get. If they just get one character or two or three, they audition for that. They read off the lines for that character. Or mainly what they do is not just read off the lines, but they read off the panel in the comic for that character. They read off what the character says in the comic and in the panel. Now, once the voice recording's all said and done and synced together, because basically people put this together. There's a variety of people. You go on YouTube, you put in comic drama, Sonic the Hedgehog comic drama, or Marvel Comics comic drama, or Archie Comics, or DC, whatever. Mega Man, you name it. And basically, you will see a variety of people uploading and participating in these comic dramas. As a matter of fact, one girl on YouTube that I'm subscribed to, called Super Princess Daisy, SPD, she's going to be she's going to start getting into the comic dramas as well. She's going to try it out, see how it goes. Um, and basically, what the comic dramas, like I said, are just people coming together, lending the voices, to characters of the comic. They lend the voices to the characters, and then who's ever in charge, excuse me there, who's ever in charge of putting the whole thing together will start to edit everything, will start piecing all the pieces, will start putting all the pieces together. I should say they'll start putting all the pieces together, um, from the making sure the voices are real to making sure everything is aligned correctly. And they add in music. Sometimes it's not their own music. Sometimes it's music from different other sources. Like some of the credits, because this is what they also do. They put credits in the description boxes. Some of the music people will use will be from like animes or movies or whatever, and they're just orchestral, the orchestrated music. So you could have, for example, one of the comic dramas that I watched and listened to last night had music. The person behind it had music, was using some music from One Piece. So by using that music from One Piece, they essentially were giving life, background life, and everything to it. They also use sound effects. That's obviously there's a sound effects thing that I think you can download for free or something, and they use the sound effects for it, for like sword clashing, fighting, fist punching, just the whole 9 yards, if you will. So basically, after they piece everything together, and then they make sure everything is good and ready to go, they upload it to YouTube. Now, depending on the length of the comic, or depending on the length of it, it could run from maybe a half hour, from maybe 15 minutes to 20 minutes to 22 minutes, half hour. And if they really want to get grand and spectacular or just big, it could last over an hour or so. I mean, there are comic dramas, even though I haven't seen them, I'm very sure of it. There are comic dramas out there of a variety of comic forms, like I mentioned earlier, that are well over an hour. And we're not talking being along the same lines as, let's say, a motion comic or anything like that gets released on Blu-ray and DVD. No, these are just, like I said, these are just regular fans, and I apologize for the bird. These are just regular fans that basically want to, contribute to the fan base of the comic that they like. They want to contribute. They want to bring more life to it. They want to bring more attention to it, and that's what the comic dramas are. And in a sense, the comic dramas are also kind of their way of saying, hey, if you could do motion comics hey, if all these other companies can do motion comics for their stuff, why can't you do a motion comic for let's say Sonic or Mega Man or Archie? Why can't you do that? So that's basically what essentially a comic drama is sometimes. It's not just, a comic book play on what radio dramas used to be, because that's essentially what they are. But they are also, in my opinion, an attempt to kind of spread the word that, hey, you have people like my age, younger and older, that are doing this not just for fun, not for profit, but for fun, but not just for that, but to spread the word that this is still something people would like. This is something people would like to see officially, maybe in motion comic form. Then, who are we to argue with that? In my opinion, and I think honestly, my honest to God opinion here, that's why these fans do it. That's why you have so many fans dedicating their time along with other fans to do this. That's why you have fans, like let's say myself probably in the future, lending the voices to a character or a few characters in the comic just so they can, breathe life into it. Make it into more than what it is, more than just something you open up and read. And there's a lot of comic dramas of very recent stories, like out of the soft reboot and soft retcon. There are some of previous of stories from the pre-reboot or pre-soft reboot, pre-soft retcon. I mean, you have comic dramas on 178 to 179 of Sonic the Hedgehog, 174. Let's see, you have 161. You have the infamous 172. Or yeah, 172. I think you have 175 has been put into comic drama form. 200. Some issues after that, and even issues like I say, post soft reboot, soft retcon. So it's pretty interesting to see that. People step up to the plate and do that, especially with the more recent stories. But that's why fans like to do it. They like to breathe life into it. And again, in my opinion, they want to send a message that, hey, you can do more than that. You could. That basically, like I said, they're trying to breathe life into it by saying, hey, look, you could breathe life into this by making a motion comic out of it. That's what they could do, and I think that's, in a sense, one of the reasons, in my opinion, that they like doing it. They're trying to send that message of, hey, you can make this into a motion comic and make some money off it, Archie, Sega. That's what I think, in my opinion, they're trying to let the higher those companies know. Now, there are some stories that I have not yet seen become comic dramas, and even though I'm just listening to them every now and then recently, I mean, I've been intrigued by them. People have told me about them, and I've listened here and there, but I just listened to a bit last night. And to me, I think if fans really want to do a good comic drama, they should do one on Countdown to Chaos. And they should do one possibly on the more recent ones, so that you could breathe more life. I mean, if you do one on Countdown to Chaos, you do one on the more recent issues and stuff, that is really going to get people's attention, and it'll make people want to get the comics more, and maybe send that message that, in my opinion, they want to send to Archie and Sega. But again, they do this not for profit, but for fun. But for fun, and for the fact that they are fans, and they're showing that they're fans. But in a sense, they're also sending that message of saying, hey, we would like to see this officially, maybe in some kind of motion comic form. Again, that's just my opinion, though. In closing, though, like I said, I think it would be a neat idea for them to try Countdown to Chaos and maybe expand on it. Not just do one issue, but expand, challenge themselves and do like a whole 2 hour deal with the whole freaking Countdown to Chaos deal. And then start looking at the more recent issues and saying, okay, let's try this, let's try that, let's do this and that, and kind of keep up to date, keep people's interest growing, and maybe get the interest and the attention of Archie and Sega. And again, comic dramas, though, in closing, are not just limited to that. You also have fan comics that get the same treatment as well. They get comic drama treatment, the fan comics that are out there. So. But that's all I'm going to say on it, and I do recommend checking them out. They're pretty good, and that's just my thoughts on what a comic drama is, a Sonic the Hedgehog comic drama is, and let me know what you guys think about it down below. If you got any suggestions for possible comic drama projects, put them down below. Maybe get the word spread out, and I'll talk to you all later.